What's going on, guys? Welcome to week 3 of season 3 of the Lost Woods Draft League. I am Ronald, coach of the Flint Watchhogs, and I said I wasn't going to do any power rankings this week, but I decided that I am bored, and even though I said I was going to take a break, um, figured why not? I might as well get some more content out. Um, because I think a few people asked me about it, and then also Rockwell on their new podcast said keep on doing content and stir the pot. So that is what I am going to do. We had a really crazy week too. A lot of wins that are surprising, a lot of losses that are surprising. Overall, the Miraidon division has turned into absolute chaos. No one is out of it. No one is safe. And it is looking like it's going to be a super fun and interesting season. So I hope you guys enjoy week 3 power rankings. Um, Again, if you're unhappy, prove me wrong. Maybe not this week, maybe later in the season. But I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, so let's get into the rankings. All right, for your Miraidon power rankings, I decided I'm not gonna edit this, do any gameplay, put anything. I'm just gonna be me talking. It'll probably be bad compared to normal, but we'll begin with number 14. We have the Portland Siegers, coached by Toast, aka Colby. Um, Colby is taking this team over for a player that dropped out of the league. We have a complete rebrand. Their previous ranking was 14. 2-2 losses, but Colby decided to change around quite a few things and make some changes. So we're not really going to talk about his match because one, he didn't play, and two, the team's different. But this is what we're looking at for a new team. Um, your returning faces from the takeover is Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Volcarona, and Shiftry. Every other Pokemon is new and just finding its home, and I think there's some really interesting pieces here. We have the Ursaluna Bloodmoon, huge damage dealer, Volcarona, great all-around Mon. You have your Sylveon for your strong fairy type that was still on the board. What I think is really cool is we have the Dusclops, which really gives much more of an Ursaluna Bloodmoon Trick Room mode an option. But also we are bringing Illumies for Tailwind, which can pair with Wind Rider Shiftry, as well as just being able to set a really fast Blood Moon or Sylveon off and going. Quaquaval as well is a really nice option. You have Ferd for support. Rotom Fan, I'm super excited to see how Colby decides to play with it. Definitely quite a few things he can do with it. Your Crawdon Berserker, really great back end mons. Um, Changing up literally the entire team from what it was, and I think it's gonna be super interesting to see how Colby decides to play around this for the future weeks. There's a lot of things that could go right, a lot that could go wrong. I think the one thing that he mentioned that would be weird is he's playing a team that he didn't draft, in which he's had to rebuild this entire roster a few days into the season. But Colby's a really good player, and he's a really good draft player. There's a reason he does all this content stuff on it. He's very strong when it comes to building. So I get to play him this season. I'm super excited to see how he builds this team. And I am really looking forward to seeing what he is able to throw together. We will see how Colby decides to play it throughout the season, but looking forward to see what he cooks up with the team. At number 13, we have the Northern Noivern, coached by Undead Paradox, previous ranking 12. Um, Liam dropped a 2-0 loss to Rockwell and the Good Guy Gudras. And they brought a super interesting team that admittedly I didn't really understand parts of it. Liam said that they were going to build some heat, and were bringing heat, and they brought some interesting things. You have your protective pads, Weavile. You've got your Centric coming in for Follow Me. You've got your Dragapult running a Binding Band Infestation set. Belly Drum, Snorlax, Mian Chow, Gliscor to round it off. Um, I think when it comes to this team, I think it was slightly overcooked. Um, I can see the appeal in some of the things. I think the Mienshao is a really cool set. I think the Gliscor was a good idea. Maybe a bit too greedy in the set with the Gliscor, and I think just some incorrect targeting at the end was unfortunate. I like the Sentret set. Um, I think the Dragonite was a bit overcooked. Um, I don't think this thing is not surviving long enough to get value out of Infant Station, let alone Binding Band. I think it would have been much better to run as a big attacker, and I think Liam identified that by them dropping it for game two. Um, but yeah, not too much to say. Game one was a pretty clean win for Rockwell. Game two was a bit more dicey, but Rockwell just was prepared for everything that Liam had. I think they have a solid team. I still think. I think there is definitely some improvement that can and will come around for their team. But we are in the same spot that Liam was in last season. Liam started the season at 0-2, two very rough losses. Not sure where they were going to go with the team. Then they rattled off six straight, um, and finished second in the regular season. So Liam very well could turn this around. They get to play Colby, so that's going to be a very fun matchup to see how Colby decides to build into the league. But overall, um, a bit of a down week for Liam, but we'll see how they climb back and prepare for next week. At number 12, we have the Boston Blackjacks, coached with Jacob Spadesman at a previous ranking of 8. Jake got, for lack of a better term, washed by Wheezing um, in their loss to Corrosion. Um, I think Corrosion's team commands a lot of respect for almost every piece. And I think if we look at Jake's team, your Wheezing respect is Corbinite. And that's it. This gunk shot Wheezing basically tore through Jake's entire team. The gunk shots did not miss this time. Um, of course, learning Cloak game one off Wheezing was semi unfortunate. Um, but I think this was the two balanced teams of the league, and I think just one balanced team was crazy superior to the other. Um, I think like the Wheezing, just nothing on Jake's team could get going. Like there was no ability shield. There was nothing to go around, and that's why Wheezing's really good because you have to respect it, and when you don't respect it, that's when you're going to get caught out by it. And I think Jake did not respect Wheezing as much as they should have. You can see a lot of respect, like this Kova Berry really respected the Flamigo. The pledges just for a lot of speed control, respecting that you need to get that, but just not respecting the Wheezing really let everything get loose on Corrosion's side. They could bring in the ability shield instant, get what they wanted to get going, and yeah. I think the one good thing is Jake. I think Jake, because we were all watching Colby's stream, I think Jake definitely adjusted well in game two. I think it was definitely the core of Electivire lead that needed to come out, but not being able to get through this Jolteon was a huge hit. And even then, you get the turn one right, but you still have to get through a Specs Jolteon in the back and then kill the Wheezing, which this team didn't have much for the Wheezing. But it was a down week for Jake. Um, do we have a transaction from Jake? I don't remember. I don't think Jake made a transaction. Jake has a trade going through next week that we will talk about when it goes officially through. But overall, like we said, tad bit of a down week. Jake gets to go against Alex next week, who is a very, very strong team builder. And next week, I see as a make or break week for Jake. If they win, they get back on track. If he loses, it's going to be very tough to claw out the season. But I think he has a shot at it. We'll see how he goes and where he ends up to continue off the season. At number 11, I have the Slow Bros, coached by Big Oog Ivan, previous rank 9. Took a 2-1 loss to the Yanabo Golurks and Padrick. I had to watch this game on a potato of a camera. That thing was really, really funny to watch. Really cool stuff. I got to prep. I didn't prep his team, but I got to learn a bit of Ivan's prep this week. Um, I think there's a lot of cool stuff that he brought. The Roar Nine Tails was really cool. You've got your standard Dozo stuff, Dozo Giri. Um, Hark, dual attacking Hark. Um, and then your Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Ice Shard, Excalibur. Um, if there's one thing I believe after this game, it's that Loaded Dice Icicle Spear was felt really, really strong in this matchup. Um, because you'd be able to knock off the Venusaur and Noivern and even the Crocodile. You get around the Crooks Yachaberry. Um, but it's fine. I know Ivan lost, but I think this was a really, really good set. You can see in the game one, everything on Patrick's team was a problem. Palma got 1 KO on the Torkoal, but by then it was over. Um, but then game two, Baxcalibur just did its own thing. Baxcalibur went kind of crazy, and then game three just could not get through this team. The Venusaur wrapped it up. Um, I don't remember much about the match, but I know it was a very good game of Pokemon. This is a very weather warsy. It was snow versus sun, in which the sun is gonna have an advantage in the matchup, and I think Padrick played that advantage very, very well. But I think Ivan also played a really strong game, showing that they will bring Dozo Giri, but that's not a requirement for them to play, which any Dozo team, in my opinion, should not be required to function completely around Tatsugiri. Um, Especially because if you're running leftovers and not goggles, um, Patrick's team had answers into it pretty consistently, but definitely really cool sets coming out, like your Blizzard Aurora Veil. Um, Definitely a bit risky. I think he's showing he's willing to run the risks in that even if it's a weather war, they're still gonna bring the Blizzard. Um, and even the mix attacking Arcanine was a cool set. No electric move on Palmont. Um, and then this Dragon Dance set, all really cool stuff. Um, Ivan has a solid team. Transaction that Ivan has made going into week three is Harkonine is gone. Pachirisu and Baratic are in the lineup. Um, and he's going to be playing the Waltham Watchdogs and myself. So this is a team I'm getting familiar with. I think it's a pretty cool team. I know it's at 11, but the team is solid. It's just everyone above. It's really hard to justify going any lower on any of them. But I'm still think Ivan played a really good game. I'm not concerned at all with him. I'm concerned to play against him, but we will see how everything ends up next week when they play me. At number 10, I have Ivan's opponent, the Yanabu Golurks, coached by Darkhelm Padrick. Previous ranking at, I believe, 13. Padrick was the victor of this match, and we do have some EVs, which just Max Venusaur and Torkoal. But yeah, if we look at the team, really cool stuff. The Rhyperior, again, asset that was planning on being brought, but definitely really led into the Weather Wars. Venusaur Blaziken was a consistent lead for their first two games, and I think the overheat with the eject pack, super, super cool. And then you run your coaching that you can pair with your Rhyperior. You have overheat to activate the eject pack, which I may have just said. And then you have Vacuum Wave just for priority, fast KOs, surprise. Um, the Yacha Berry Crook was a really, really good idea. I think Icicle Spear, like I said earlier, was needed to punish it. It was not brought, so this Breaking Swipe set got a lot of use. Really like the Satch Neuburn with Super Fang, the Life Orb Venusaur ready to catch things off guard. I think for everything Patrick's team has been criticized for, I think it's steadily getting better. Um, if you just look at his current draft and pretend that Amoonguss was the first overall pick, it's not a draft that you hate as much as you may be used to. I certainly didn't like it at the beginning, but I think his team has steadily gotten better. His team's continuing to change as well, with Golurk being dropped for the Electros, which has a bit of history in Lost Woods Draft League from the literal beginning. Um, so we'll see how the Electrode gets used, but super strong win. Like I said, I don't remember much about the game, but really both players giving everything they had into the Weather Wars showed that this was a really, really good matchup, and both players played extremely well against one another. Constant adjustments on both sides, where after Patrick stayed the same, he changed and won with his changes. Very good game plan. Lots of surprise. Having the Venusaur with Spore Pressure, just not bringing Spore, is also a really, really nice play. Um, but overall, really, really solid week from Patrick. Continues to improve. We'll see how Patrick fares next week as he goes on to play Rockwell, the number one team overall, in my eyes at least, going into the tier. At number 9, we have the Beantown Binnacles, coached by Theo, with a previous rank of 6. Took a 2-0 loss to the Alexandria Arcanines. I played Theo week 1, so I'm semi-familiar with his team. And really just nothing to shut down what Stout was trying to do here. Went for the slacking mode this week, and AV slacking is super strong. Um, some interesting things. I don't understand the facade. Um, I guess if you get like Parad or like whatever, but I think that's a bit like too iffy. You've got your Garchomp with the Yacha Berry, which was for an ice move, but no ice types came. And really the only thing that would have been for was for Milotic, and Milotic did not appear in any of the matches. Um, I like the Typhlosion set with Frisk. Like that's just good. Papaya Berry, also really cool. Don't understand the Misty Explosion. Because I don't think that killed the Hariyama. Um, and then bringing back Expert Belt on Magnezone. With the Azumarill to cover for the Trick Room option. But like just couldn't get through Delphox. Like game 1 was a bit of everything. Like I know the double flinch came out in game 1, but the fact that the entirety of the team did its job well enough to get a KO shows that it's really unmatched. And game 2, I think the wheezing was super, super necessary to bring here. Because you had to get the Sandstream shut off for the Houndstone and for the Psy Spam for the Indeedee. Um, but it just couldn't get got through. Um, I think the moment the wheezing was dealt with, like all of the problems Stout was gonna have was gone, and the Hariyama lived a Misty Explosion, which semi yikes. And then Delphox just cleaned up literally the entire game. There was nothing really Theo could do. This was definitely a much harder matchup than Theo had last week. This is one where 100% on the back foot, but it just felt off. It just like yeah, it's a down week, but got beaten pretty badly if I have to say myself. Um, yes, Stout has been a super solid player to start off the year or the season, I should say, but yeah, overall, like a bit of a down week, but Theo has been solid. They get to play Corrosion next week, which will be a super fun matchup for them to get through. Wheezing on Wheezing. We'll see which one prevails, but looking forward to see the start on that matchup and to see where it ends up going. But even though slight down week, they do have a transaction coming in which Gotharita is off the team and Metacham is on. So we will get to see what they end up doing with that and where that gets them against Corrosion. At number 8, I have the 413X Ursa Rings versus 1413X, coached by Alex. Previous rank of, I believe, 10. Alex got a 2-0 win over Zerd Solid Zentas, but we know there's a team sheet error or a team error on Pengy's part, so really hard to say. I knew Alex's game plan coming into this. They showed me their team, what they were thinking, ran some ideas. And while we don't have footage, I think there was an itinerary posted on Colby's that I have. Alex also sent to me, but really, like game one, the Basque Legion female just took out the Excadrill. And there's nothing that could really be done because the Fletchlander is meant to be Gale Wings. Spoiler alert, it was Flame Body, which not good for Pengy because the entire team was supposedly built around Tailwind. So we can't really say much. Like, yeah, it looks like Alex -7'd him, but when your entire strategy is amiss, then that stuff happens. Basque Legion female put in work in game one. Gambit and Sneasler picked up game two. But if we look at the team, pretty cool ideas. I like. Yes, the loaded dice set is back. You got Fire Punch for some coverage. CC Gunk Throat Chop, no Dire Claw shenanigans wanting to come out. Double Dark Iron Head for the Clefable. Electro Web Follow Me. Scarf Basque Legion F. And then the cool part of this team, I think the Air Balloon Cinderace. Yes, we didn't get to see it, probably because that was for what I'm assuming is a Excadrill Hippowdon duo. But super, super cool ideas showing that they're willing to get the back Mons involved in their drafts. That would be less expected. But can't say too much. It's a solid win. They get a win, but it's not a win against like a true team that was built for the matchup, in my opinion. But win is a win regardless. Alex gets to play Jake next week. That will be a very fun match to watch. But overall, we still take the win. Alex came prepared and won extremely cleanly. Like you said, you can say, he just won. Like it's whatever. That's a +7 differential off 1 week. So every points in every differential in this league you take. So looking forward to see how Alex continues out the season, and very, very good for them this week with very cool prep that they draw. At number 7, I have the Cursed Curry Stunfisk, coached by Curry, previous rank 11. Curry obliterated ZL. Like, there's nothing really more to say. I know Curry took a bit of a break from like competing, but now that they're back, you can really see Curry get into a groove in this match. They made correct move after correct move after correct move after correct move, and really just dominated. Your Smeargle Muck went kind of crazy. It didn't run the Smeargle Muck mode that it was expecting to run. Instead, it went with just a fully support Smeargle, no minimized shenanigans to be brought out. With some other really cool text, you've got your like Scarf Annihilate, which is standard-ish, but running Rock Slide for the Volcarona. Grass Knot Whimsicott came in very well against the Blood Moon and would have been good against Best Male. Zoroark still being used correctly. Wide Lens Gastrodon to check both the Ursaluna and the Volcarona with Hydro and Stone Edge. Even the Muck's moveset bringing Rock Tomb for the Volk. Definitely can see that Curry was super scared of the Volcarona and has played against it super, super well. And yeah, ZL just got clapped by Curry. Like, this was a vintage Curry Puff draft performance. They completely outplayed him. And they gave up a lot of information each game, and it just didn't matter. Like, all four Mons were known on turn one of Curry's game, but like there was really nothing that ZL could do to shut it down. So super, super cool. I find it really funny that the Terra types are Grass and Ghost on this as well, probably because they were previously used. But super, super solid from Curry. Great way to get back in the win column. No complaints on my side from them. Just incredibly, incredibly clean. They get to play Pengi next week, which will be a very fun matchup. I'm excited to see what Curry cooks up against Pengi, and we will see how that ends up next week. At number 6, I have the Massachusetts Mareeps, coached by Keon, previous ranking 2. Took a 2-1 loss to my team, and I'm honestly not that worried about Keon. I knew Keon was running on limited prep, and this is just a super bad matchup for Keon, if I'm being honest. I think he also definitely got caught out by surprise. Turn 1, why would you expect Scarf Pelipper? There's no real reason to expect it, so that was kind of an insta wash. You're forced to give up your Gengar Scarf info early. Game 2, very good adjustments. And admittedly, the end of the game, like, and what could have been a 50-50 endgame, Keon made every call correct, and got that right. But game 3, I think some of the info that was preserved, as well as Pelipper not missing Muddy Water throughout the entire game, really cost him. I think because I got to play against this team, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that Keon had. Yes, the Magmortar and the Alcremie didn't do anything. But this Banded Scizor was a problem. Bug Bite did so much damage. Bullet Punch was a constant thorn in the side of myself, and was just really an overall like hard team to get through. There's not too much to say. I think showing that he's comfortable. Yes, I know I brought a rain team, but showing that he's comfortable bringing the Ludi without his own Politoed, with this Assault Vest coverage set as well. Life Orb, showing that he's willing to run Protect with Life Orb on Gallade. Unfortunately, 2 of these Mons won't be returning. Gengar and Alcremie have been dropped from the team in exchange for Mimikyu and Electrode, of which you have a Trick Room setter that's more reliable that can pair with Gallade, as well as the, I believe, tied for fastest Mon in the league in Electrode, which is a super, super strong thing to have speed on your side. Which, someone with Hisuian Electrode, very, very good. I like it for Keon. Yeah, took a loss this week, but move on. Or get up, move on. That's a bit harsh, but didn't mean to say that. They get to play Stout Gaming next week. And what will be a very good matchup, another weather matchup, that will be happening. But overall, although it was a loss, still won a game, still showing that they have what it takes. And while they slid a bit, I'm not concerned about Keon for this season. He's still in a very good spot, and we'll see how he ends up. Moving on. At number 5, I have the Wolf Watchhogs, coached by myself with a previous ranking of 7. Again, another back-to-back opponents. Took a 2-1 win. I brought a team that I was super, super proud of. The Scarf Pelly completely caught Keon off guard to pair with the Acid Spray Overquill. It never showed, but Sash Samura in the back was also was a good option to take a hit and live, as well as a Power Herb Electroshot Archaludon. The game plan coming into this match was actually not to bring Pelipper. The 4 that we had believed were the best were an Arch Overquill lead with Florges and Samurott. But on the Scizor coming, and no Indeedee and no Solomons made the Pelipper a lot, and I mean a lot more appealing to bring. The Screens Meowstic didn't see any life, but was still a very, very big thorn that could have brought. I'm super proud of how I played this set. Like I said, revealing the Scarf Muddy Water super early is always a bit risky, but ended up working out. No misses happened, which will not happen again. I think the Custap Berry Florges is what I'm really disappointed I didn't get to use, but this Scizor was a massive pain in my side, so I didn't really have the opportunity to use it. I don't want to talk too much about my game, but I think it was a really good, clean set for me overall. Yes, I could have won game 2, but it is what it is. We move on, and we will continue to see how this goes. I get to play Ivan next week, and I've made a transaction in which Armarouge is off the team in exchange for Barraskewda and Espeon, which I know at least 2 of the coaches in the league, and Ivan and Brockwell, are extremely thrilled to play against. And excited to see me make that transaction with no bad blood whatsoever. But looking forward to seeing what they come up against me, and when I decide to prep how to build against them. So overall, solid week overall, and I'm happy with how I played. At number 4, I reserved Salvacentes, coached by Pengi, with a previous rank of 1. Took a 2-0 loss to Alex, but I'm not concerned at all. Pengi made a team error in which they meant to bring Gale Wings Fletchlander, turned out to be Flame Body, and when the entire team is built around Tailwind, it's a bit hard to recover from that. It is what it is. I know talking to Alex that they were semi-nervous about the possibility of a Fletchlander Tailwind mode, and I think Pengi bringing it really showed that it was a good option and a solid option to be used. However, didn't get the chance. A lot of cool stuff otherwise, like a Focus Blast Clefable was a really good idea into King Gambit, which was something I believe Alex mentioned to me. The Cloak Cleavor with a ton of coverage was really cool. Choppleberry Excadrill, so you don't have to sash it. And then Figiberry Scrafty to end it off, giving off Fake Out Pressure as well as Drain Punch and Knockoff support. Didn't get to see any of this stuff in action, which disappointing, but understandable considering the team sheet error. But I'm not too worried. Pengu will bounce back. They get to play Curry next week, and it will be a really cool, interesting set to see how they go against one another. At number 3, I have the Alexandria Arcanines, coached by Stout Gaming, with a previous rank of 5. Stout took a 2-0 win versus the Beantown Binnacles and Theo, and they brought a really, really cool turbo team. This team was meant to go fast, meant to go hard, meant to hit incredibly hard as well. I think identifying that you had to get through the wheezing to open up this team is incredibly smart. You brought your Life Orb Indeed to hit hard. your Scarf Tyranitar to just get away from everything. Yes, the double flinch helped on turn 1, but this team was just so strong and so fast that something else would have caught up. Um, but really, really cool team. You had your Thick Bat, Citrus Berry, Hariyama, your Psychic Seed, Driplim, with no acrobatics, but instead Tailwind, Icy Wind. And then your Sand Rush, Red Card, Houndstone. The fourth move on Delphox that got cut out is Psychic. Um, but really, really cool team. Identifying that you got to get through the Weezing early was good. Not when no Weezing led in game 1, this team was going to be able to clean up it very, very easily. With the Weezing lead, just had to focus it down with Indeedee and Tyranitar, but Delphox came in and just cleaned the entire game up at the end. Super, super solid win overall for Dan, Stout Gaming. No complaints. They played very well. They've shown that even though they were considered a meh team to begin the year, they've shown that this team is really something to be scared of and that it's a lot deeper than people think. I think it was a very well played set by them. And I will look forward to see how they do against Keon next week and the Massachusetts Mareeps. But overall, super, super solid from them. And we will see how they turn out next week in their game. At number 2, I have Area 151, coached by KC Corrosion. Previous rank of 4. Took a very dominant 2-0 win versus the Boston Blackjacks. Really, really fun team. Identifying that the Weezing was a huge problem for Jake to get through. You can pair that with Ability Shield Incineroar, just to completely shut down physical attackers, bringing Snarl as well. Your Banded Palafin, also really, really cool. Super interesting running Facade on it, assuming for Para or any status moves. Wave Crest, Flip Turn, Ice Punch, just tons and tons of damage. And when the Weezing got walled by nothing except for the Corviknight, you had a Specs Jolteon to clean up. Corrosion was not on the back foot at all this entire game. Super, 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 super strong plan from them. They had everything covered. The Trick Room was covered. The Fast Mode was covered. Jake brought pledges. Could not do anything with the pledges because of this Cloak Gunk Shot. Weezing. Super good. Super, super good gameplay from Corrosion. They're a dangerous draft player, but they are at the top of their game right now, getting to play this cool balance team that they have. And really, really dominant win. Completely, in my opinion, washed Jake. And they get to continue. They have another hard matchup this week against Theo, which is, I think I said earlier, 2 Weezing teams. So we'll see if one of them wants to bite and bring that. But overall, Corrosion really showing that they are super solid with this balance core so far, and that they are continuing to play very, very well with it as their centerpiece. And at number 1, I have the Good Guy Gudras, coached by Rockwell, previous rank of 3. Rockwell 201 versus the Noivern. Game 1 completely clean. Game 2 a bit closer, but still won cleanly. I think Rockwell's ability to use Grimmsnarl this season has been super, super solid. Because you're not expecting a fake out Spirit Break, Sucker Punch Protect set. You are expecting like your Prankster stuff. But there's no Prankster needed when you don't run any status moves. Your Ursaluna didn't even get involved that much. Like, the Yanmega just kind of torched Liam's entire team. Air Slash, Bug Buzz, Life Orb just went crazy. Your Roar, Magmar just can cause problems. Even Stash Abomasnow just with Blizzard and Aurora Veil just makes it so this team is super, super hard to get through. And the fact that Yachiberry, or Wakanberry, my bad, Gyarados was not even needed. Although it did come in game one. Super, super good. For Rockwell all around. Um, I can't really complain much. This was, especially game one, super dominating win. I guess the only thing I can complain about Rockwell is that he timed out for one of his turns in game two, but he didn't even get punished for it. He still got the call correct. But overall, super super solid game from Rockwell. I'm not talking a bunch about it because one, my voice is getting tired, and two, you can't really complain much about it. Um, it was just solid overall. You can't really criticize it. Adjusted correctly in game two, to catch up the Gliscor with the Abomasnow. Yes, Gliscor still did some damage. Dual Wing Beat onto Abomasnow is a big move. But still, Rockwell prevails and moves on. He takes over as our number one spot and leads the league in our power rankings. They get to play Padrick next week in what will be a Snow versus Sun matchup, which is becoming a considerable theme for a lot of the season with the weather wars, and we'll see how both trainers prepare for that matchup. So with that, our week three power rankings for the Miraidon division starts with Rockwell leading the field as our number one overall seed, followed by Corrosion, Stout Gaming, Pengy, Ronald, Keon, Curry, Alex, Theo, Padrick, Ivan, Jake, Liam, and Colby. This is truly a division that everything is wide open. The top seed and the bottom seeds are still both extremely extremely dangerous teams, and with the amount of 1-1s that we have in the division, it's really anyone's game. A lot of good matchups come as a result of this, and as we look ahead towards the week, our matchups for week three, the number 8 413 Ursa Rings will take on the number 12 Boston Blackjacks. The number 7 Curse Curry Stunfists take on the number 4 Zurich Zamazentas. The number 9 Beantown Binnacles take on the number 2 Area 151 in a match to watch. Another match to watch is the number 13 Northern Neuverns taking on the debuting number 14 Portland Cedras. In our match of the week, the number 6 Massachusetts Mareeps will take on the number 3 Alexandria Arcanines. In our final two matches, the number 10 Guyana Golurks take on the number 1 Good Guy Gudras, and the number 11 Slowbros take on the number 5 Waltham Watchhogs. So that is all we have for this week. Thank you all for watching and stick around, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So have a good rest of the day, and goodbye.